Yo, what is up guys? Tears Life here, and today I'm finally back with my What is the Greatest Call of Duty series. And today's Call of Duty we're going to be going over is Black Ops 2. The first thing we're going to start out with is talking about the multiplayer. So overall, for me at least, the multiplayer was really fun. I think it was one of the better multiplayers in COD history. It's just, I don't know, just enjoyable, maps were good, weapons were fun to use, stuff like that. The first thing we're going to talk about is the weapons. At the beginning of the game, there was a lot of problem with balancing. Each class had their very specific few weapons that were just deemed overpowered. Started out with assault rifles. One of the first ones was FAL, which actually got banned in competitive play. That thing was a beast. The single shot weapon, and oh my god, if you had a good trigger finger, you would just rape. You had the select fire attachment and would turn it full auto and just got even worse, honestly. And I'm happy that thing got banned from like competitive play, because playing that with league play, if people had good trigger fingers and they just had great accuracy, you'd get melted by that. Another one was the M8A1, which is a 4-round burst assault rifle. I believe it's 4. I think it is. Well, that was also a really overpowered weapon. The iron sights weren't the best on it, but once you got like red dot sight, oh, it was an amazing weapon. And it actually came back later in the Black Ops series, and Black Ops 3 is the M8A7. And the last OP assault rifle was a AN-94. That was like your classic AK, and the first 2 rounds of each of it had like a burst fire, the faster rate of fire, so if you connect those first 2 shots, you'd be able to kill them easier. Next class was shotguns, and the only 2 that were really overpowered was a Remington, which is a pump action. It had decent range for being like a buckshot shotgun. And the next one was a KSG. Now this one is a little different. We haven't really seen this in Call of Duty before. It was a slug. So pretty much it was kind of like a sniper shotgun in a sense. The slug didn't have a buckshot like every other shotgun, so it wasn't spread. If you had to be accurate. If you weren't accurate with it, you wouldn't be good with it. But if you get that accuracy down, oh man, that thing was like a sniper. You could one-shot people across the map. LMG-wise, things got... Pretty much all the LMGs were overpowered for the sense that they've added target finder, and what that is a sight that when you aim down sight, it highlights the enemy in like this diamond red shape, and you could just see them across the map and stuff. And Nuketown, people just laying in the back spraying people down. It was awful. And probably the best one in that class was the LSAT, I think. Now sniper rifles, you had 2 semi-autos and 2 bolt actions. DSR-50, amazing sniper rifle. Now I know nowadays it's not, but we're gonna get to that in a little bit. Next one would be Ballista, was the other bolt action. I think, like, my experience using it would get a little bit more hit markers with it, but it was still a really good, reliable sniper. XPR and SVU, they were alright. XPR you could actually get one-shot kills with. SVU, only one-shots or headshots. Assault Shield, only one in its class. Actually, first shield that you could actually place down on the ground and use as, like, a barrier, which was kind of cool. And annoying at the same time. If you add the assault shield and LSAT target finder, that was a pain in the ass. Last class we're going over is submachine guns. Now start out with, you had like MP7 and PDW, your first 2 ones, and both of them were amazing weapons. MP7 was in Modern Warfare 3 before, which in that game was also amazing. I preferred in Modern Warfare 3, but still, really good weapon overall. PDW, ridiculous ammo capacity. I believe it was 50 bullets, and that thing had a decent rate of fire, 50 bullets, good damage. It was melt. You'd never had to reload. Another one was MSMC. It's just like your base. It was a little bit slower fire rate than most of the other LMGs, but it was just overall a good accuracy. Didn't really have too much recoil. And the last one, I don't know if it was really overpowered, but the Scorpion Evo, just super fast rate of fire. It was ridiculous. So those were like the good weapons. I say the OP weapons when the game first started out. Now we're going to be talking about, some later changes that happened in the game that affected some of these weapons. So yeah, so Black Ops 2 went through a lot of changes to their weapons with nerfs and buffs. Some of the very significant nerfs is I know a lot of people, when they came towards closer to the end of the life cycle of the game, was when they nerfed the DSR. I know a lot of quick scopers, trick shots like that were pissed. Me, I wasn't really a big sniper, but I did enjoy my time using the DSR. I wasn't like a feeder or anything, but I know that's what it mainly affected was people feeding, because it had a slower bolt action, and quicker you get off shots, easier you can get feeds, and that kind of screwed them over. And I know a lot of the community a lot of sniping community, didn't really play Black Ops 2 that much after that, because that was just one of the biggest nerfs. Another one was PDW, like I said earlier, big magazine size, good rate of fire. I believe it got decreased in like damage and range in that, and it got more recoil, so it became a little bit less effective. Another assault rifle I didn't mention earlier, Type 25, it was one of the first assault rifles you unlocked, and it was honestly reliable for someone starting out the game. It was a good assault rifle to start out with. Nothing was really wrong with it, just your average assault rifle. I remember they did add some recoil to that, and it just, that thing was trash. I believe the M8 and AN went through a little bit of nerfs and stuff. Kind of turned a little bit shitty, but MSMC, I believe, actually got a decent buff at one point that turned out was just ridiculous. I remember that was on like League Play scene for a while, and it still is today. And all the weapons, and like I said, pretty much like the biggest nerf had to be the DSR. Other than that, all the other weapons were pretty reliable. The one unique thing about Black Ops 2 multiplayer is it was the first one that, with the season pass, you know, you get your normal 4 maps plus zombies maps, you got a DLC weapon. Now this one was a submachine gun, and it was called the Peacekeeper. Now it kind of acted kind of like an assault rifle. It had good range, good rate of fire, good damage. It was actually a really good DLC weapon. And, you know, as in later Call of Duties, you see, like, you get these DLC weapons from supply drops. With this one, though, you got it with season pass, and it was the first one that did it, which was pretty cool. The next thing we're going to talk about is the maps of Black Ops 2. So the maps in Black Ops 2 were overall pretty good. You had your couple shittier maps, you know, like, oh my god, Aftermath. That one, that was horrible. It took like half a game to just like literally find anyone. Overflow wasn't too bad. It was kind of shittier, but like honestly, they had some of the best maps. Turban, Raid, Hijacked, Carrier. I said that really weird. Anyway, most of those maps, like Carrier, was a big sniper. It was wide open. Few places to hide in that, but it was a big sniper territory. I remember, what was it called? Standoff. Oh my god, that was like the best search map. I don't know why. I just played so well. You had the main building in the middle. You had a couple side buildings, 3 lanes. It was really good. And then Hijacked was one of the smaller maps in the game, and it was, you know, it was amazing. Like, that was a good SMG map, shotgunning, stuff like that, and that was one of the more hectic maps. You usually could get a lot of kills, or you died a lot. I remember they had this weird glitch that when this map first came out in Domination, if you spawned on the one side where you can jump off the end, if you jumped off quick enough, it would spawn you right behind the enemies. I remember people getting 6-mans in that by doing that. I personally never did that because I had no clue how to do it, because I never really knew about it, but that was awesome. What other maps were there? Raid was another really good search map. You had 3 lanes. The middle lane was the like sniper alley, and Search and Destroy. I was always very scared to like peek out in the middle for I was gonna get my head popped off in that. DLC maps were actually all they were pretty good. It was a good season pass, pretty much. It was worth it. One of the only ones that wasn't season pass was Nuketown 2025. You know, it's like a Black Ops tradition now. You have Nuketown 2025, and then the one in Black Ops 3. They didn't really change much, just pretty much the cosmetics made it a little bit more futuristic. Now, some of the notable Black Ops 2 DLC maps, Grind, which was like a skate park. It was a medium range map, but it was still fun. Studio, which was a remake of Firing Range, if you remember Black Ops 1, that was a great map. Smaller map, it was really fun. Uplink, which was Summit, another good map. Cove, I don't know if a lot of people know about that. It was pretty fun. It was like this, like a circle, it was literally just like a circle. It was an island, had like a crash play in the middle, and that. And one of the cooler ones, honestly, was Rush. Literally, in one half of the map, it was like a paintball thing, and that was made some pretty cool battles. You know, you're battling like a paintball court. I mean, other than that, like I said, the DLC maps were good. Nothing really wrong with them or anything. So yeah, next we'll talk about some of the new game modes they added. So this is the first one. I added Hardpoint. All you do is, like, there's different locations on the map that you have to capture a point. You sit in there. It's a designated area between each. Some are bigger, some are smaller. And the first one, 250 points wins. They also brought back party games, gun game, one in the chamber, sharpshooter, and sticks and stones. But unlike in Black Ops 1, there was nothing to wager for. It was just like a fun little time. You know, just if you want to lay back from normal competitive multiplayer, just even casual, you know, don't want to play TDM or Search or whatever, you just want to hop on some party games. They were fun. First one that had combat training, which I really never played. It was like with bots and that. Other than that, you just had your basic game modes, and the only other thing they really added, which really wasn't too popular, was multi-team. It was 3 teams of 3. I can't remember what all the game modes were. I believe it was Kill Confirmed, Hardpoint, and TDM. I mean, it was alright. It really wasn't the best. And Black Ops 2 was also the first game that had like a competitive thing. Now I know obviously there was like esports now, but it's first one that like competitive in the game, which was league play, and you got different ranks. You played, I believe it was like 10 placement matches, and you got rank, bronze, silver, gold, stuff like that. And you could also do a 4-man team and get ranked as a team. So overall, Black Ops 2 was a great multiplayer. Nothing to really super complain about, other than, you know, a couple maps, DSR, stuff like that, but I really did enjoy my time on multiplayer. So next thing we're going to be talking about is Black Ops 2 campaign. So now we're going to talk about campaign for Black Ops 2. The Black Ops 2 campaign is a little bit unique, considering that it all took place in 1980 and 2025. Now, it was different sequences. You'd have like flashbacks and that. You'd go back and fight like during like 1980 era, then you go the whole way up to the future, 2025. So some of the main characters in that game were David Mason, Mike Harper, Raul Menendez, and Frank Woods, who was also in the Black Ops 1 campaign. And if you recognize the name Mason, it's because Alex Mason, I believe it was his David's father, yes, Alex Mason was in Black Ops 1 campaign. So pretty much like the story behind it is, I know like one of the first missions is you have to go save Woods. He's in like a cargo container with like rotting bodies and stuff, but the whole thing is you want to try to find the whereabouts of Raul Menendez. And another cool thing about Black Ops 2 campaign, in some parts of the story you would have like decisions to make that would affect the way the campaign progressed. I know one of the big ones for me was whenever Harper was captured or something like that, and you were undercover and you had to choose to shoot him or shoot him or Raul Menendez, and you had the choice to shoot either of them, and both of the ways affected the story. Now if you shot Harper, you just plain out shot him. I believe if you try to shoot Menendez, he would stop it or something, because obviously the campaign's not going to end right there. And also the campaign had multiple different endings. I'm not sure exactly how you complete each of them. I only did the campaign one time, and that was years ago, but I do want to revisit it again, because I know for sure it was like a great campaign, really fun to play with in that. But it was one thing that was weird to me is just like, you know, Frank Woods was in Black Ops 1 was like this elite soldier. He's like the Captain Price of the Black Ops series, if you think the way I think about it. And it's weird to see him like how old he is in a wheelchair and that, and you just think, holy shit, he used to be a badass, now he's old. Obviously he's older, it's like 40 years in the future. He's aging in that. But yeah, I'm sorry I don't have too much to say about Black Ops 2 campaign. Like I said, I haven't played in years, but I know for sure it was a great campaign, good characters, and it was actually continued off of Black Ops 1 campaign, unlike Black Ops 3, which is like a complete different story. It doesn't go Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3. It's just those two together, unlike the Modern Warfare series, which MWR, Modern Warfare 2, and Modern Warfare 3 are all connected through the storylines. But obviously these characters, you knew them. Like, you knew Woods. Mason was a relative of Alex Mason from Black Ops 1, so it went off of each other, which was cool. So next part we talk about is zombies, and yes, I do know a good bit about zombies. Not the actual storyline, but about how it played, the map, stuff like that, so stay tuned. So now we talk about zombies mode in Black Ops 2. Now when it first came out, it came out with, it was kind of like three maps in a sense. You had Bus Depot / Transit, Town, and Farm. Now all these places, if you played Transit, were all connected. You started out at Bus Depot, you made your way to the farm, then you made your way to the town. Now Transit was unique for zombies because it kind of had like a different aesthetic to it. You had to get on a transit bus and drive around each area, and there were buildables in this game where you had like shield, you had to actually have to build a pack-a-punch. You can get the jet gun, which by the way, definitely not worth it. Also had like a little Easter egg, you go to Nocturne.
I'll give you a reason.
And the three like little ones, Bus Depot, Town, and Farm, were all like small version. It was each section cut off. You could play them individually. Now Bus Depot did not have perks or pack-a-punch or anything, but Town had everything, and Farm did not have pack-a-punch. Also, little side note, Black Ops 2 also added a melee weapon called the Galvan Knuckles, which were 6,000 coins, and they were actually better than Machete. I believe they lasted till like round 15 for a one-shot, which was pretty good. The one other thing Black Ops 1, the Black Ops 2 zombies added was a thing called Turn. Now, it was really had to be beginning of it when they were talking about it, because you could actually play against a zombie, but the zombie was actually a player, which was kind of cool. And I can't remember how many people were able to play in it, but it was cool. But it wore off real quick because it was only on one map, which was Diner, which is like another side section of transit. And real quick, one other thing, Black Ops 2 Zombies added was a thing called Grief. It was you could play with 8 people, and it was like you faced off against like CDC and CIA. I'm not really sure how it worked. I think whichever team had whatever, I can't remember. It was weird. Like it really wasn't that fun. So now we're gonna talk about the DLC. Now one of like the weird like side DLCs was you could actually play Nuketown 2025 on zombies, which is kind of cool. And the weird thing about that is perks and Pack-a-Punch dropped randomly. I know there was an exact sequence. I can't remember if it was I think it was like every 7 rounds, maybe something like that. Don't quote me on that, but it would drop, and I know that would suck if you didn't get like Jug or Pack-a-Punch to like the teens or 20s. That would suck. Like Nuketown was honestly kind of hard because it was just a randomized thing. So the first DLC map that came out was Die Rise. Now Die Rise was like this. You're on like skyscrapers and that you could jump to different levels, and it was the first map to add a perk called Who's Who. And it was this like weird perk where you like kind of like you die and you come in like this like weird afterlife. It's not like a purgatory like Mob of the Dead. You actually run around, you could shoot in that with a 1911, and you can revive yourself. It was kind of useful, but it wasn't like a main priority. But this map was fun. You had like a slingshot launcher pad type deal to get to certain areas and that. It was fun. Like you had to take up elevators to get places, and the elevators were most of the perk locations and stuff. Next map we talk about is Buried, which was a weird map to say the least. It was like a literally like an old buried like western town, and there was like this big giant guy there. A lot of people call him Leroy Jenkins. I'm not sure what his exact name was, but you'd had to give him booze and candy for him to do certain stuff. If you gave him booze, he would charge through stuff, and there are certain areas of the map you can't get to without having him charge through it. And if you give him like candy and that, he would pick up zombies. So it was good for like stalling off rounds if you him like rock around a crawl like a little baby and stuff like that. That mode added 2 weapons. I believe that was the first one that had the ray gun Mark II. I can't remember exactly, but that came out. It was a little better than the normal ray gun. Yeah, it was like a burst one. It also added the paralyzer, which was this weird wonder weapon, unlimited ammo, but it would overheat, and you had to like, I don't know, it would like stun the zombies and eventually kill them, but you could also like boost your teammates up and jump yourself up to higher areas. It also had this it was like equipment, kind of like a monkey bomb that you would throw, and it was like a time bomb, so you'd set it for a certain round and you go back in time. And I remember people would troll and get it on round 1, and you make it like round fucking 25, and they set you back the whole way to round 1, and it was like, you motherfucker. They also added a bank, which, you know, you if you were going for like, if you're on like round 30 and now you had a shit ton of extra money, you had all your perks, all your stuff, you could just throw all your money in the bank and save it for like another attempt at Buried. Also had like 1 weapon locker where you could keep a Pack-a-Punch weapon, so if you're like, oh, it's already round 30, I want to get off, but I have a good Pack-a-Punch weapon, throw it in the weapon locker, and you'll have it for next time you play. Next map we talk about is Mob of the Dead, which is personally my favorite. Now, it's these 4 mobsters who are stuck in Alcatraz prison, and the main boss or whatever it would be in this, he was his name was Brutus. He was the prison guard of the Alcatraz prison, and he has like a big bully club in that. He runs around, and he's harder to kill. You want to shoot him in the head because you want to take his helmet off. After that, he's exposed. That map honestly was my favorite. One main reason, this is kind of a stupid reason, but added the Thompson gun back, which was a Bible off the wall. And one of the cool wonder weapons in this game was called the Blundergat. It was like a big one-shot shotgun. You could upgrade to like the Acid Gat and that. Also, it had a unlockable thing. It was called the Hell's Retriever. It was like a combat axe, but it would go through like a shit ton of zombies in that. And you could upgrade to, I think it was called the Hell's Redeemer. You have to go on the bridge and get a certain amount of kills or whatever. And cool thing about this map, how I said the bridge, is you had to construct the plane. It's like an escape plan, and you would fly out and you'd crash on the Golden Gate Bridge, and you would have to then kill yourself to go back to spawn room. And that was actually part of the Easter egg in that, which I actually did complete that Easter egg, so I'll talk about that a little bit. But anyway, there's a thing called Purgatory also in this game, where it was certain areas where you'd go to like electric box, you down yourself, and you go in this Purgatory where you had like lightning and that, but you couldn't, you could kill those. I don't know if you could kill zombies or if you teleported them. I'm not sure which way that worked. But there's certain areas you can unlock, like that's how you got like, the Golden Spork, and there's some areas that you can only get to Purgatory by like dropping keys and that. But if you didn't revive yourself in time, you would lose your perks, but if you got to Purgatory in time, you'd revive yourself, get your perks back. And also, if you died at around, like you don't have to just go up to the electrical box. If you would die, you'd go back in Purgatory. Now I know for the Easter egg, at the end of the Easter egg, warning, spoiler alert, you have to try to kill Weasel. Apparently, like, he ratted on you or something, or I can't remember exactly like what he did. But the last time you go to the bridge, so you collect all these like radios, you go in Purgatory, you go over to the bridge, and you have to kill Weasel. Actually, it was a really good Easter egg. It took a while to do, but it was actually really fun. The last map, and personally a lot of people's favorites, was Origins. Now, Origins was set in World War II time, and it went back to the 4 original characters, actually. You know, Takeo, Dempsey, Richtofen, and Nikolai. And it was actually a really big map. There was a lot of shit you could do on it. And there was like this big robot giant that would come down, and if you stepped on you, instant death. Unless you went into 1 foot, that would actually like teleport you up into his head, and that was actually part of the Easter egg in that. They also added the 4 lightning staffs, which were you could attain by doing a bunch of stuff. You'd have to build them, and you got the 4 staffs. Also had a Panzer, which was this annoying motherfucker who would like hook you like Roadhog in Overwatch, pull you in. He had a flamethrower, and it was awful because mud in that game would actually slow you down, and you'd be trying to run, and he would hook you, pull you in, flamethrower you. He was just a pain in the ass. That's like the main reason why I didn't really like Origins. Wasn't him, it was just the mud. Like, I don't know, just like I'd be training and then I'd walk in some mud and just slow down. The train would catch up to me, and I was like, shit. It was also the first zombies map that did not have the 1911 in Call of Duty. It actually added the C96 Mauser, and if you'd upgrade that, it'd be called the Boomhilda, and it wouldn't be like an explosive or anything like Mustang and Sally. It'd give you like a scope in that, kind of like Han Solo's gun, and it would, I believe, give you like 50 rounds in that. So yeah, guys, sorry it was a little bit choppy in this one. I haven't played Black Ops 2 like legitimately in years, but you know, I think I got all the bases covered on everything, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for the next What is the Greatest Call of Duty series. I'll talk to you guys later.